Greetings, my name's Srikanth. I run the blog Confessions of a Laundry Fairy, and today marks the end of the 29th week since my duodenal switch surgery, which took place August 2018. I'm not going to give stats anymore, but things are going in the right direction, which is nice. I thought that this time I might want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that have been going on since the last time we did one of these. One of the reasons why we've been gone is that at the end of January, beginning of February, Captain Midnight and I scampered off to Southern California and spent some time at Disneyland with some friends. And we had a good time. We did a lot of silly things, enjoyed ourselves. But I thought it might be useful to talk about Disneyland and other theme parks after DS. Because there are going to be some things that are easy and some things that are not so easy, and we discovered a few things that made the experience better than it could have been. One of the big things that we chose to do while we were at Disneyland was, and this seems incredibly intuitive in retrospect, but sometimes it's one of those things where you don't think about it until you do it. Before we went, we were going out and trying to get a little bit of information on various ways that I could be eating better, because it's very tempting when you go to a theme park to throw all that out the window and eat whatever you feel like eating. And I've been doing too much of that recently. So we went out and did a little looking around online, found a few places that talked about eating low carb, a few places that talked about eating after DS and so forth, but nothing specific to theme parks after DS. However, I did find a website where someone suggested, mostly for the sake of frugality, that if you go to Disneyland with someone else, that you consider splitting plates when you eat at Disneyland. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, that actually ought to work really well. We should try that. And Captain Midnight and I have similar enough tastes in food that it wouldn't be a difficulty. If you have somebody in your party who has a very different taste in food, obviously that might not be the best choice, but for the two of us it worked very well. We would just go in, we would order a single entree, sometimes we would ask for 2 plates, and we would get sufficient silverware and everything else for us and divide things up and have lunch, for instance. And the way that we went about it, if a few hours later somebody was hungry, we'd go split something else, somewhere else, and went through the park that way. And we're able to try a lot of things that I think otherwise would have been too much for my stomach. Now, my stomach has stretched a little bit since surgery. It can handle more than it used to, which is actually at least a little bit welcome, because when I was first out of surgery, as I said earlier, it felt like I had about a golf ball to work with, and it's very difficult to work with a stomach that small. So even though I'm still not anywhere near back to where I was before the surgery, I am able to handle a little bit larger volume of food than I could before, and I am still losing weight, so I'm not overly concerned about that, but I don't want to stretch it out any further than it's already stretched. I think it's sufficient to suffice, as they say. So yeah, if you are thinking about going to a theme park and you're going with a close friend or your sweetheart or anybody along those lines, consider splitting plates. Theme park food tends to be on the large portion side to begin with, so it's fairly easy to split a plate. It may end up being a little more frugal that way, but more specifically, it will help if you have a small capacity stomach to be able to split food up that way. You won't have to worry about carrying leftovers around. You won't have to worry about any of the things that you usually obtain. It's actually a pretty nice way of handling things, and we really enjoyed it this time. We didn't feel like, there was only one time where I really felt like I'd eaten too much. For the most part, it went very well. So it's just something to think about if you plan on scampering off Disney Way or any one of the number of other theme parks that are out there. Anyway, I think that's all for this week. Again, my name's Srikanth. I run the blog Confessions of a Laundry Fairy, which can be found at laundryfairy.blogspot.com. If you have questions or comments, or you want to talk to me about how I spent too much money at Disneyland, I'll agree with you, I did, but it was a blast. If you have any other things that you'd like to say, please leave comments below. I'd be happy to respond. And I hope you had a good week and that the coming week is great. We'll see you next time. Bye.